Do you ever wake up and feel like the day is already over before it even begins? Like your body's still here, but your soul checked out a long time ago. That was me. For weeks, maybe months, I lost track. I wasn't sleeping. I was hiding from the world. I wasn't lazy. I was so drained. Even breathing felt like a chore. People said, just push through. But when your heart's been heavy for that long, you forget what light even feels like. I used to think healing had to be big, a breakthrough, a moment of clarity. But what I found was quieter than that. It started with a glass of water and one tiny whisper that said, "You're still here. So maybe, just maybe, that means something." This is the story of how I crawled out, one small, exhausted, messy step at a time. I didn't even notice when it started. There wasn't one big tragedy. No moment I could point to and say, that's when I broke. It was quieter than that, slower, like water wearing a waystone. One day, I stopped folding my laundry. Then I stopped washing dishes. Then I stopped texting people back. And then I just stopped caring. Getting out of bed felt like dragging a 100-pound blanket. Brushing my teeth might as well have been climbing Everest. I told people I was tired, busy, overwhelmed. But the truth was, I didn't feel like a person anymore, just an echo in my own life. I'd lie on the floor for hours, staring at the ceiling, and when I blinked, it was already dark. I wasn't sad, exactly. I wasn't crying. I wasn't feeling much of anything at all. That's the part people don't understand about depression. It's not always loud. Sometimes it's just this slow, dull ache, like your soul's been wrapped in fog. I felt useless, unlovable, alone, even in rooms full of people. But the scariest part, I was still functioning, still showing up to work. But the scariest part, I was still functioning, still showing up to work, still answering. I'm good, just tired. I was alive. Technically, but I wasn't living. It was a Tuesday night, nothing special, the kind of night that just blends into all the others. I had eaten cereal for dinner again. The milk had expired, but I didn't care. I'd been wearing the same hoodie for 3 days. My room smelled like old laundry and instant noodles. I walked into the bathroom to wash my face, but instead, I just stood there, staring. The mirror was foggy. I wiped it. And then I saw myself, really saw myself for the first time in weeks. My lips were cracked. My eyes are completely dull. There was a zit on my cheek that I hadn't noticed until that second. I looked like someone who had been slowly falling apart, but had tried really hard to keep the mask on straight. And then I said it, out loud. "You look disgusting." Not out of hate, just exhaustion. Like I was done pretending to hold it all together. My legs gave out. I slid down to the floor, next to the toilet, knees up to my chest like a child. The tile was freezing cold. And then the tears came. Quiet at first, like leaking, then messy, snotty, raw. My hoodie sleeves were soaked. I wasn't crying because I needed help. I was crying because I had spent so long convincing myself I didn't. The next morning, I didn't wake up with some sudden realization. No new chapter moment, just same hoodie, same unwashed hair, same dishes in the sink. But I was awake, and I was thirsty. So I shuffled into the kitchen, past the pile of unopened mail on the counter, rinsed a coffee mug 3 times because it smelled like old soup, and filled it with tap water. That was my victory, drinking 1 cup of water without criticizing myself for it. That night, I finally took out the trash, not because I had a surge of motivation, but because the smell was creeping into my bedroom. I wasn't healing. I wasn't making progress. I was just trying to make my apartment tolerable enough to sit in, trying to be in my own space without hating it or myself. The day after that, I opened the blinds. The sunlight hit me like a slap. I nearly closed them again, but I didn't. I remember typing something into my notes app. Just 1 line. Didn't cry during Zoom today. That's something. I started eating 1 decent meal a day, usually frozen Trader Joe's rice with whatever protein I could microwave. Sometimes I'd throw in a handful of spinach and think, maybe this counts as taking care of myself. One night, I texted an old friend, "Hey, thought about you today." They didn't reply, but somehow, it still helped. I started listening to my body more. When I was tired, I lay down even if the laundry wasn't done. When I was hungry, I ate even if it was drive-through, not out of discipline, but out of something that felt dangerously close to kindness. Every night before bed, I tried writing down 3 small wins. Things like, didn't lose it at the grocery store, actually opened a bill instead of ignoring it, wore jeans instead of sweatpants. I wasn't better. I wasn't okay. But for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel like I was disappearing. I was still here. And maybe, just maybe, that started to mean something again. The truth. I had good days, then bad days, then worse ones. Progress didn't feel like a straight line, more like a bad Wi-Fi signal. In and out. A week after I started eating real food again, I ordered Domino's 3 nights in a row, left the empty boxes on the coffee table because, whatever. I skipped laundry, wore the same pair of jeans all weekend. Not because I was depressed again, just didn't have it in me. Sunday night came, and I opened my inbox, 63 unread emails. I closed it again, then sat there on the edge of my bed, staring at the floor. A year ago, I would have spiraled, told myself I was a failure, gone on a guilt trip so deep it'd take days to crawl out. But this time, I just sighed and said out loud, "All right, so today kinda sucked." Then I got up, rinsed a mug, and poured myself a glass of water. That was it. No self-help, no comeback montage, just a small act of not quitting. I stopped trying to be normal, whatever that even means. I just wanted to be a little less harsh with myself than I was yesterday. And weirdly, those small, stupid steps, they started to bring me back. Not all at once, but enough to stay. Some days are still a mess. I still leave dishes in the sink longer than I should. Still find myself zoning out in front of the TV after work. But here's what's different now. I showed up to my son's game last weekend even though I was tired, even though I wanted to stay in bed. I watched him strike out, and we laughed about it over burgers afterward. A year ago, I would have made an excuse, said I was busy. Really, I just couldn't face anyone. I started opening my mail again. Not all of it, but enough to finally pay that medical bill I'd been avoiding for 5 months. I made a doctor's appointment for the first time in 2 years. I showed up, didn't cancel last minute like I usually do. I even cooked dinner last Tuesday. Nothing fancy, just spaghetti with jar sauce. But I didn't order takeout, and I sat down to eat it, not in front of the TV, just at the table. That's what progress looks like right now. Not a comeback, not a transformation, just a handful of choices I wouldn't have made 6 months ago. And that's something that's mine. If you're still here, I just want to say I see you, and I'm really glad you stayed this long. You don't have to say anything, but if anything I said felt real to you, feel free to leave a comment. I read every single one. No bullshit. You're not alone in this. I promise you that. I'll be back soon with another video. Something simple, something doable. A small routine for people who don't have energy to pretend. And hey, if you want to support The Truth MD, just show up when you can. Watch when it feels right. That's more than enough. You don't need to be perfect to belong here. Just real.